to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits. Whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts, this is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. I hope everyone is home safe here on the weekend as, another week has passed. And here I am on the Get Home Safe podcast. Honestly, this is one of those days where I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I wrote a few things down as I always do, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm at a loss for words, and it's been a rather relaxing Saturday morning already. Already kind of recorded something else. I am very fired up for the big fight tonight between Ryan Garcia and Devontae Tank Davis. Of course, it is on pay-per-view and DAZN. You sign up for a subscription and then there's pay-per-view. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but what do I know? I am just a sports fan here that is trying to find ways to consume as much content as possible. And you know what? I'm going to do just that. I'll find a way, some way, somehow. But it's also a very fun time as an LA Kings fan. What a game that was last night. Game 3 that was, with the Kings winning in overtime once again, as they did in game 1 over the Edmonton Oilers. So game 4 on Sunday. Can't wait for that. A rather sneaky great weekend for sports, honestly. We got the Kings game 3 on Friday night. The huge fight tonight. One of the best, I would say the fight of the year, really, in Ryan Garcia and Devontae Davis in boxing. There's some other great sporting events going on. UCLA versus USC baseball. Some great college baseball games going on. I think the Dodgers are out in Chicago. The Lakers. Just kidding. We don't talk about that stuff here on the podcast. But no, I have scrolled through and seen a few NBA scores and stuff. So that's going on. If that's your cup of tea, if you will. But as for me, my constant, my coffee, my everyday stuff is, fighting, boxing, specifically some UFC, hockey, football, even though that's not going right now. And, just kind of a little bit of baseball too, as much baseball as I can stomach anyway. And I shouldn't say that, because I do like the game of baseball. It definitely has worn on me over the years. It's taken its toll, if you will. Again, anybody who's thrown on gear and been hit by as many baseballs as I have, you just kind of, I don't know, the game itself, the pace of it was tough to be around, but it was also something that I was good at, I think, but it's a sport, a situation I never thought I'd be in. And I don't know how many times I've said that over the years. I never thought I'd be doing a podcast. I never thought I would be back in the city of Covina, where I spent so much time, obviously as a kid, with family connections. And then I don't know. You never say never in life. You just don't know about not only the next day, but the next week, what's ahead in a couple of years. And it's just hilarious, really, when the second you rule something out, it's almost like God starts laughing and chuckling and being like, don't say that, because I got nothing but time up here, and I will come up with something that will blow your mind, if you will. So doing a podcast obviously is something that I didn't think I had the ability to do it. And sometimes when you don't think you can do something, that's the best time to do it, I guess, except for, like, I don't know, some of those manly repairs and things of that nature, daily maintenance, and I don't know, screwdrivers and hammers and those things. That's just something I'm never going to be very, 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 very good at. And I will be the first to admit it here on the podcast. But anyway, a great weekend of sports. Another busy week behind the wheel there at FedEx. Had a great time doing what I do, and kind of brushing off some of the mistakes I made in the previous week. And so I want to talk to you guys, I guess, briefly about work, and how, not just my work, but just work in general. And I think there's a lot of people out there that young people especially, and maybe some people are unwilling to identify this, that, like, there is a lack of work ethic kind of going on around the country. I'm not here to toot my own horn or anybody's horn who just goes to work on a daily basis, but that whole concept of getting up, Maybe it's you work nights, so you're up in the afternoon, whatever it is. But just the concept of get up, maybe go do something you don't want to do, but it's a sense of purpose. And do you get, how fulfilled are you through your work? I think when I did baseball, so much of my life was baseball and other sports too, but baseball specifically, there was a sense of accomplishment, of purpose, almost like if I don't go out there, they're not going to have a game. Sure, they're going to yell at me and this and that. And you had accountability. I think work is good for all of us. And it took me a while to value my work, to find, again, purpose in my work. Some people, they wake up and they hate where they go every day. And that is something I absolutely dreaded. I don't remember what year it was, but I talked to my brother Sam about, I was officiating full time and I just couldn't think of a job I wanted to do. And I just started, I don't know, throwing anything out there against the wall, see what would stick. And he had a pretty successful career going in what was it? The printing industry of some kind or whatever it was. So he ended up, doing some moving and shaking for me and got me in a position where I could potentially land a job and start doing that rather than step away from officiating full time. And I mean, I was doing everything, man. I tell you, I was doing, obviously, football season. You got Friday night lights, Thursdays, you got like junior high or JV games. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would find like junior high flag football games. I'd do adult league basketball. I was doing it all. And I just started to get this burnout. It was fulfilling in the sense of you felt like you had a skill and you were doing something productive, but you just started to get burnt out. And as I got older, it's like, I got to find something that is stable, that will help me with long-term, as far as like benefits and a future, retirement and all those things. And I started to get really antsy, I guess. And I remember just like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I can do. And so I took this job that my brother helped set up. And I was like, okay, I can do this. It was way down in Orange County, which wasn't South Orange County even. And it was like, okay, I can do this. Just show up every day, 6 a.m. to whatever it was, 4 p.m. It was something like that. And I just remember right off the bat, as soon as we started, I had this like committed attitude, be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm ready for the job. And so I started working. It was basically like not repairing printers, but like preparing them all day for like maintenance. And like, so we'd like pull off all the tape and things and stuff like that, roll them into a room, roll them out of a room. And it was in this warehouse. And I still can't even like describe it to you guys, honestly. But I knew after like the first day and a half, even, I was like, this is not for me. And I made it through the week. They wanted to like move me to another position. They started to talk to me and I was like, hey, I ended up, I had other opportunities. So this was truthful, but I was like, hey, I had something that come up that I actually really want to pursue, really want to do. And it was that moment of being kind of miserable in a new job early on. I was like, all right, there's times you stick things out. You're like, no, just give this time. It'll get better. But there's also times when right away, much like a date, right? I mean, you go on, you're meeting someone. There's times, okay, the first few comments or topics, all right, let's give this some time. And then there's also times when okay, 10 minutes in, no, this is not going to work. Let's pay the bill. Let's leave early even, because we're never going to see each other again. And that's how I felt about that job, that experience. And I've always done jobs where it wasn't necessarily an everyday aspect, like the same place every day, the same people every day. It was always in officiating, a different school every day or a different venue. When I first started out working, I was a janitor in high school, working 3 days a week, emptying trash cans at dentist offices. I was refereeing again in the youth sports program. That was a lot of fun. I was working as an office assistant at this place in City of Industry, which is, again, funny that I'm back there now as a driver in the area. And it's just funny how things come full circle, really. As much as you try to get away from something or areas, you kind of circle back, which is funny. But I was an office assistant, doing filing and paperwork of that nature. I was going to school and coaching at Rio. So I kind of looked at that, coach at Rio and Care, and I saw that as a job as well. But the whole constant, like a minor league baseball, that was obviously a different story, being on the road in a new city every 3 or 4 days for working a series. These are the types of jobs I've had. And when I tried that job out that my brother got. I just knew after like a week, like this, I'm not cut out for this. This isn't good. And it was almost, I was glad I took a leap, but it was also like, I'm a quitter. Like I let my brother down who, you know, pulled some strings for me. And, I don't know why I'm telling you guys all this stuff. And just kind of the whole concept of work has like come into my mind the past few weeks specifically, where we have people that I don't know how they do it, man. They just don't go to work. I see people all the time in my neighborhood or on the way to work, and not necessarily friends, but just I see this like, I don't know how you afford anything in Southern California, by the way, by not really working, but some people it's just a job. It's just job, you know, just over broke. You just go, you make up just enough money to kind of get by. And trust me, we all need off days, days where we just like, hey, I can't go in today. I need a break. I need a me day or whatever you want to call it. But I just see this like this lack of work ethic. And I stepped away from something that I love doing. It was wearing on me. I didn't always love me back, if that makes sense. And so sometimes we do jobs that we know it's for the greater good. It's something that we can provide for our families. And maybe it's not something we love doing, but we tolerate it. And I think that's really, really important, not just in the work we do, but in our lives. There's people we love and there's people we tolerate. There's people we dislike. There's people that we like. Like there's all kinds of people in our lives. I'm fortunate that I don't have a ton of people that I have disdain for. Most of them are those are people that I don't know, but all the people that I do know, I value in my life. And I know I'm going all over the place here, but you know, back to work and just this, it's definitely hard if you get up and you go somewhere that you just don't want to go, or you don't feel fulfilled by it. That's a real deal. And it's something with FedEx that when I started it, I had to prepare myself mentally. I don't know about thankfully, 6 months prior to that, I was just at home on lockdown like everybody else was, you know, unemployment and not really doing much. So maybe there was a sense of boredom that I was just like, no, I'm gonna, and I had no idea what was going to occur with sports officiating down the road. So I guess it was easier for me to put that behind me and be like, I'm all in. Let's give this a go. Let's give this a try. And I went in with the mentality. Again, I think your mentality is everything. If you kind of go in just dip your toe in the pool, you kind of know you're not necessarily committed. You're kind of like, I'll try this kind of. No, it's cold. I don't want to. Whereas sometimes you just got to jump in the pool. Just jump in the water. It's going to hurt a little bit, but the fear that you experience by waiting and kind of that overwhelms you from being able to just take the leap. Just jump in the pool. What's worse going to happen? It's going to be really cold. You're used to it in 10 seconds. Sure, it's going to hurt, but sometimes things that hurt are good for you, you know? And so when I started at FedEx, I was so like, no, I'm not going to, I'm going to give this some time. My dad actually gave me great advice. He says, give it a year before you know if you like it or tolerate it or whatever. And, you know, my parents encouraged us always to never quit and to finish what you start. You don't have to be good at it or whatever, but you're going to finish things that you start. And I think that's a good mentality, a good lesson. So early on, there were some moments where I was a little, I don't know, about shy, a little passive, however you want to say it. And I didn't necessarily know if I wanted to be there. I was like, I still have possible football season. It was nice that I didn't have those things to fall back on. This was again, September of 2020. Everything was uncertain. Right. And so in a way, I'm grateful for some hard times because they led me to kind of where I'm at. They led me to a point where I could give up what's going on now with like sports. And I've had plenty of offers. Hey, offers, come back, work baseball, work this, work that. And it's tempting. It really is. Money, of course, any money's, you know, in these times, I can use all the money I can get. Again, talking about last week's show and kind of some of the regrets I've had in life. And that one of them is finances and being better with those things. But I'm thankful for my job. I'm thankful that it's given me a sense of purpose. Every day you get a little mission out there. It's not always easy. It's tough. But it's fulfilling. in a sense. I get to accomplish something visually every day, and not always accomplish it the best of ways. There's plenty of mistakes made, but I'm so grateful that I found something, again, coming off of what I thought I was put on this earth to do, which was officiate sports and specifically umpire baseball. And again, I never thought I'd umpire baseball at the highest of levels, like professional baseball and college after that. That was the one sport I thought for sure, like, no way. I could never see a pitch move that fast, or I could never do that. I could never get behind a plate and handle all that stuff. But I think God always gives you just enough of a challenge, right? Just I don't know the verse. I should know this. I need to be reading better too. It's something reading better. That's even sounds weird. I need to improve my reading, reading more, of course. But I remember so many times I read stuff. I was like, I don't understand what that is. And so it discouraged me from reading, and I backed away from it. Whereas, no, you should get more, and you want to get better at something. Repetition is a pretty good way to do that. Not always, but look at the podcast. I mean, this is vastly improved from day one, when the sound was off and we didn't have video before. And maybe I haven't changed a whole lot. I'm still kind of rambling away and saying and quite a bit, and just like not sure where my next thought is coming from. But you get the point. Repetition gets you at least in the right direction. Repetition for direction. That's pretty good. It could be anything. It could be cooking. Got some steaks marinating or seasoned up, ready to go for tonight. The big fight. Gonna pull them out soon. Get that stuff going. We're gonna eat up and eat well for the big fight tonight. Can't wait. Garcia, Tank Davis. As you guys hear this, you'll probably be like, we already know who won. Well, where was I? I'm all over again, this is a random Saturday pod that I'm just like, let me sit down and do 30 minutes or so and just get some stuff out there. I don't know what it is about work. If some people, are you the type of person where it's your identity? You need that. You need your work to mean something to you. Or are you the type of guy that can just go space out, do something? Yeah, this is what I do, but it's not who I am type of deal. In some ways, I can relate to both. I can relate to, hey, I'm an umpire, or hey, I am a FedEx driver. Like, there is an identity aspect there, but I think it's not just how you identify, it's what it does for you, what it brings out of you. Does your work produce a positive attitude? Does it produce a negative attitude? It's not so much what you put in. How should I say that? You get into, I heard this again a million times as a kid. It's like, you get out of it what you put into it. If you're not giving your best effort, and maybe sometimes you do give, that's the frustrating part, is you're giving your best and you're not receiving anything back for it. Not necessarily recognition, but just the thought of being productive. Industriousness, right? That's a fun word. I think I don't know if it's the technology age now, or this instant access generation we're in, where people want instant results, instant, like, I go do this job, I want the money right away. That's why I used to be with officiating. That's what I was used to doing. Now I got to wait a week, and that's not bad at all. Most people get paid every 2 weeks. But just this instant gratification, I think, is the better way to say it. I know that, heck, when I want some good food, it's like, it's tempting to be like, let's order it. It'll be here real soon. Or I want to watch a sporting event. It's like, I don't want to wait. You just want it now. Instant gratification. I think it's gotten worse, and I've fallen victim to it all. And I think, again, back to my work and going every day, and what I'm doing is, I think that is why I do receive instant kind of gratification every day in doing what I'm doing. And it's not always great gratification. No, it is gratification, but like, it's not always 100% great stuff. There are negative aspects to it, but you kind of can reflect on your day and then move on and learn from it. So in that sense, there are no losses, only lessons. But I was thinking about these two things this weekend: job, work, specifically, what you get out of it, and food, obviously food all the time, and how food is tricky. I heard this lesson once on a summer trip, and it was a guy who was in pretty good shape, and how much he was into fitness or whatever, but he was a guy that also, he liked to eat just like any of us do. And he based his Bible lesson around basically how eating and dieting, it's kind of like your spiritual walk. And what you like put into your mouth right away, what you eat, you don't see the results right away. Like you eat a candy bar or a couple of candy bars. You're not going to automatically look down and like, oh man, I gained 5 or 10 pounds from in that moment. But it's over time that you see, oh man, this habit isn't good for me, right? It's holding me back. And the same thing with dieting. And that was this, again, I'm paraphrasing his message here, but it's like sometimes you diet and people get frustrated because, again, they don't see the results. They don't see the instant results, whether it's food in or food out, or, more food or less food, whichever direction you're going, you don't see results right away. I know that that's something for me, like, oh, I'll eat this, I'll eat that, because I don't see the result of it right away. Over time I do. Or like now you got to look in the mirror like, oh man, I got to lay off the pizza, lay off the cheeseburgers or whatever. And then sometimes when you do lay off those things, you see yourself, I mean, hey, the belt fits a little better here. It's over time. And I think we're so impatient. We're impatient with wanting this gratification from things. We want to feel good. I want to feel good. I feel good when I watch my sports, when I have some good food, when I'm around good people. And there's different layers to feeling good. Again, gratification from work. That's a good feeling. Sometimes it's a tiring feeling. That's what's, I think, good about any job, is that you should come home somewhat mentally tired, physically tired, maybe both, because that shows that, okay, you did something today. When I was sitting around, especially, the lockdown stuff, like I had to get out and walk because I was just getting stiff. And even if you did some exercise or something, it wasn't enough. Like you needed that everyday movement and interaction with people. And interaction is funny because I'm not always super interactive with folks, but you get the point. I think you do. But yeah, I got food on my mind now. Ugh, sounds so good. Can't wait to cook things. Sometimes it's the simplest things on a weekend. What do you want to do? It's like, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to cook food. I want to watch my sports, maybe do a podcast. Those things make me happy. So I guess my challenge to you, this is going to be a very short podcast today, by the way, I think, is work ethic and working. And is your work working? Does that make sense? Who was the Coach Fairley said, working hard or hardly working? I mean, that's a fun phrase because we've all been the hardly working guys. And I know people that love their jobs, and I know people that hate their jobs, like hate their jobs. And it's kind of like being in a bad relationship. Well, like, what are you doing? And I've been in a few bad relationships, and everyone's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know about the next job, the next, what I got to update my resume and I got to do all these things again. I just like, yeah. Sorry, I thought I heard something out there. Someone yelling my name. Maybe not. It's weird being here on a Saturday recording. Anyway, yeah, can you imagine having a dating resume? Yeah, everyone has dating profiles and stuff, I guess, but like filling it out like an actual resume. Oh, from 2016 to 2018, relationship in blah, 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 California. Oh, look at this. Just you had little, I've done a resume in a while. Maybe that's why I found it funny. Man, it's been sirens everywhere all day. But your work, food, and what's another one? Work, food, sports. Yeah, that'd be a great motto, right? I should get a t-shirt made. Those are the things that are important to me. No, I know I'm all over the place today. I wanted to come on here and do a quick little show for you guys and just kind of ramble away for 20, 30 minutes. And I've pretty much done that today. It's just one of those things. And the podcast may get shorter as time goes on. I've told you guys all about all the different changes and things that I might be doing, because it's hard to sit here and not only talk for an hour, but hard to listen to me only for an hour unless I have really, really good ideas, which I don't always have. And usually I write stuff down and try to come up with something, but other times I'm like, I'm spent. I just want to space out right now and not talk and not just about, that again, men and women differences. Valerie all the times, everything okay? I'm like, yeah. Well, you're quiet. I'm like, I know, it's great. Get to just be quiet, not think about, or maybe think about things, not think about enough. Anyway, go Kings, go. Yes, I have my good luck puck here. Good luck puck. Just carry it with me everywhere like a baseball. And not everywhere, but just while I'm watching the game. It's good to have something in your hands when your teams are playing. It could be a disaster because you could throw it, but it's good to have something that you can squeeze. My worst habit in life is biting my nails. Val's on me all the time about it. And I appreciate that from her. But it's good to have something that you can. She gave me a stress ball for the car to drive in. And I ended up breaking it like in a week or so, just because I was on the road a lot. And yeah, I broke the stress ball with this incredible strength of mine. No, I think it was stress for sure. But if you're going to hold something during the game, number one, it keeps you from consuming food or drink during your team sporting event, because it's super easy. Stress eating, right? It's just something you want to do. And it keeps you also from like biting your nails. The one downside is that you might throw something. So that is my sports fan hack of the day, as I rambled away about other stuff too. If you're committed to a game, to your team's game, have something in your hand of significance. It might be a hockey puck. It could be a pillow, a back scratcher. I don't know. I held my football that I have. I have that for like football season. That's really good. I think that's again important, and don't throw it at something that you don't cause damage to your place. I think with the great power, you don't your team messes up, you just throw it against something. No. I think you having it in your hands is better, because when you do get mad, you don't reach for something and you don't think and you just throw. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. That's just a thought of mine that I had. Let me see. Did I write anything down for this week? A few items. I need thoughts. I need feedback from you guys, of course. I wrote down a few things as far as I'm trying to compile a list of woke words that to me really don't mean anything anymore, but are words that like a dictionary, if you will. What are they trying to mean by this? And then how is it actually used? And then defining it. So that's defining each one and the proper technique they're trying to use it in. That's something I'm slowly coming up with, writing them down and coming away with that. Let me see. Popular things I don't like. That's always something that is going. And that's a big reason, honestly, the NBA. I continue to really not watch that, because there's better options out there, in my opinion. And maybe the NBA is popular, but years ago when they went extra woke, I just like, all right, I don't need this anymore. And that's, again, how I started to invest more into sports like boxing, because it was year round and it was something I could support. There's really no politics in it. And so I really, really like that. And so NBA, again, used to be a huge fan. I mean, not the biggest, but a massive, massive fan. And yeah, it's not the same, especially with that LeBron James guy on my my Laker team that I love, but I can't do it. Another list of things I'm coming up with, and it's not ready yet, but I'll share a few with you, is some of the worst phrases out there. And I'll give you a few examples. One is, it's a simple recipe. That one, people say that all the time. Oh, it's a quick read. I hate these. Oh, it's a quick read. The pages turn themselves. I'm like, no, they don't. No, no, they don't. Maybe for you, you're a fast reader. Hey, be right there. No, that's another one. Or call you right back. These are phrases I'm writing down, compiling a list of, that's just like annoy me a little bit, because they're not true, but we use them in everyday life, and it drives me nuts. A lot of things drive me nuts, as I'm sure you guys are well aware. So I will call it a day, make it a quick podcast today. This is, again, just a Saturday brief we're throwing out there. I had some thoughts about work and food, and definitely going to not do much work today, but dive into the food, cook up some steaks for the big fight tonight, and look forward to the Kings tomorrow in Game 4 on Sunday. After I got to work the Quakes game at 2:00 up in the press box, but I will hurry home and see the final not final game, but the last of the brief 2-game homestand for the Kings, as they try to eliminate the Edmonton Oilers, who eliminated them last year in the playoffs. So I know most of you guys aren't into hockey, into boxing, but I say a few things here and there to keep time moving and to get the frustrations out and the voices in my head, to let it all out here on the Get Home Safe podcast. All right, guys, that's it for today. I told you a quick one. Let me know your thoughts. If you like the shorter shows, if you have topics I should talk about, or I accepted all the criticism, whatever comes my way, I'm more than willing and open to listen to these things. So have a great weekend, guys. Enjoy the fight tonight. Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, who's going to take home the belt and remain undefeated. Incredible boxing fight tonight. Just can't wait for that. And then go Kings go, as the Kings continue in the playoffs. And of course, we'll have more topics as we move forward in the NHL playoffs, college baseball, things of that nature, as I write down some ideas and compile some thoughts. I'll try to be back next week. If I'm not, I'll come back whenever I can here on the Get Home Safe podcast. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys. We'll see you probably next week, but who knows? But as always, guys, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or rounding third base, get home safe.